Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to look at sword. Now, sword has its origin and history. Why the word sword? In fact, sometimes when you introduce this topic to students, they keep asking you, why is it called sword? I won't go into that because it has its own historical uh, story. Now, mathematically, what do we mean by sword? Sword is the square root of an integer, okay? Square root of an integer that is not a perfect square. Now we have our perfect squares as 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, continue like that. So any square root of an integer that is not a perfect square is regarded as sword. So example of a sword, we have square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5, continue like that, square root of 12, square root of 50, etc. Okay, so all you are seeing on the board is regarded as a sword. So a sword is a radical, okay? Radical are square root of numbers, okay, but is a type of square root of number that is not a perfect square. So we call them radicals. So sword are also regarded as irrational numbers. Though I won't go deep into that, okay? Rational numbers are those numbers you can express as a fraction, while irrational numbers are those numbers that you cannot express as a fraction, which sword is one of them. So any number that is regarded as sword cannot be expressed as a fraction. We have different forms of a sword. A sword can be in single form. A sword can be in basic form. So let us have that now. Single form, basic form. Now, what do we mean by a sword being in its single form? When you have sword 2, sword 12, sword 50, these are single form of a sword. Okay? Now, what do we mean by basic form of a sword? When you have 2, sword 3, when you have 4, sword 2, when you have 5, sword 2, when you have 2, sword 2, all these ones are basic form of a sword. Now the question is that can we move a sword from single form to basic form or from basic form to single form? Yes, we can do that. So let us explain how to move from single form to basic form, from basic form to single form. Before moving to single form and basic form, let us look at the rules guiding sword. So here are the two major rules guiding sword. If I have sword A times sword B, I can as well bring the two numbers together and apply my multiplication, then have my square root. Also, for division, I can as well do that. Now, I have written this in different form because most time this is what we'll be seeing. Okay, so what it means is that sword A divided by sword B is the same thing with sword A over B. That means we can actually multiply two swords. We can actually divide two swords. Okay, now the question is, can we add two swords? Can we subtract two swords from each other? So let us see what those ones say. So in addition and subtraction, when you add two swords, it cannot give you the addition of the numbers, then square root. No. If I have two sword A plus 3 sword A, so you can see that these things are the same sword, but the number of sword here, the number of sword A is 2, while the number of sword A here is 3. So this is just like when you are doing 2x plus 3x. That will give you 5 sword A. So we can actually do that in subtraction also, but if the swords are different, we cannot be able to add and we cannot be able to subtract. Okay, so knowing this rule now, remember this is a quality sign. It simply means that you can actually move from here, you come back here. You can actually move from here, you come back here. So let us look at single and basic form, because we need to understand this rule so that we can be able to move from single form to basic form, or moving from basic form to single form. So let's take sub 12. Sub 12 is in its single form. Now, can this sub 12 be expressed in different form? Yes, it can. You can expand this sub 12. Now, how do we expand? Do we just say we have two numbers, we have different numbers that can give us 12? Do we just, just put any number? Of course, 2 times 6 will give us 12. Can we just put square root of 6 times 2, or 2 times 6? No. In as much as 2 times 6 will give us 12, but you see that there's nothing that you can actually do, okay, in that square root of 2 and square root of 6. Now, whenever you want to move from a single form to a basic form, you have to look for a perfect square, okay, a perfect square that is a factor of the number in the square root. Now, it's not just a perfect square that you'll be looking for. You'll be looking for the biggest perfect square, or the largest perfect square, okay, that is a factor of that number, okay. That's what you will need. For example, in 12, factors of 12 are 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6, and 12. This is a perfect square, this is a perfect square, okay. So in as much as 1 is a perfect square, I'm not going to use 1, because 1 is not the biggest or the largest perfect square that is a factor of 12. So I will look for the largest perfect square that is a factor of 12, which is 4. So I ask myself, 4 times what will give us 12? 4 times 3. Okay. Now the next thing there is to separate this, obeying the rule of sword. Rule of sword says that if you have sword A times sword B, is the same thing with sword A times B. So it means that this one also is equals to this. So that will give us sword 4 times sword 3. Okay. So if you have sword 4 times sword 3, sword 4 is a perfect square. Okay, so we can actually have a number that is sort for, which is what? 2 times sort 3. So which can be written, so 2 times sort 3, you can now write it as 2 sort 3. You can see that this is the basic form, why this one, this is the single form, why this one is the what? Is the basic form. So this is the way to change the single form of a sword to what? Basic form. You can actually follow the same way. When you move up like this, from here, coming back here, coming back here, you get your single form. So you can actually move from single form to basic form. You can actually move from basic form to single form. Okay, so let us do one more example on that before we now look at the next thing that we have on sword. Sword 50. Now, moving from single form to basic form, what are we going to do? I'll ask myself, what is the factor of 50 that is a perfect square? Okay, so we have so many factors of 50 that is a perfect square, 1 and 25. Which one is the largest? 25. So I would say square root of 25. 25 times what? That will give me 50. That will give me 2. So you can bring your 25, the square root of 25 will give you, of course, this can separate, which is 25 times square sort what? 2. So sort 25 will give you 5 times sort 2, which is equals to 5 sort 2. So 50 is the same thing with what? 5 sort 2. So you can just try it with a lot of other numbers, like you can try 24, you can try 32, you can try square root of 8. All these are single form, which we can actually change to what? Basic form. Now, why is this an interest? Why is it something that we need to know how to do? Because the simplification of sort, you need to know how to change your single form to basic form, because you have to change to basic form to see if two sorts are having the same uh, number so that you can be able to add or subtract.